It's your boy Justin, J.Varizzle Fisher, coming back at you with another little DIY project, trying to make kayak life a little bit better for us. So, if you watched the Wrightsville Beach Backwater video, you saw that McGregor and I had we had no problem catching a bunch of live bait. We had plenty of mullet. We had fiddler crabs as well, but the mullet is the main concern for this video. I didn't bring anything out there to keep them alive, so they were all dying on us by the time we were, getting towards the end of fishing, and we were using basically like cut bait type or dead bait, not live bait. So I had this idea. I've watched a couple other videos. I know everybody throws a Livewell cooler video out there, but that's what we're doing today. But I've got the idea to do this specifically designed for the kayak. And what I did was I went to Walmart and got a 9-quart Igloo cooler. So it's just a small, just a small box cooler. And I mean, it's got enough room for, the mullet that we're going to be catching. So plus the design of it, it'll fit nicely in the front of the kayak. I can probably use the bungees and just wedge it in there, and it shouldn't be a problem. It's not going to interfere with the pedals. I've been trying to look for different ways to mount it on the kayak. Might think about doing like a side mount somewhere, or maybe even float it. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But what we're going to do, we're going to take this cooler, and I don't like the fact that it's red. So we're going to use some Rust-Oleum truck bed cover, and I'm going to cover it with that. And then we're going to figure a way to mount the actual aerator to the cooler. I've seen a couple different videos on how to do it. This aerator just has this one little, not even a bubble stone, but just a little end piece where your air is going to come out of. So what I did, went to the little aquarium section at Walmart while I was there. I picked up a decent bubble stone that I can mount in the bottom of the cooler. It's fairly cheap. I mean, it was only a couple of bucks. Tubing, standard airline 8-inch tubing, or 8 foot of 2.4 millimeter tubing. And then I got a T-bracket so I can split off and run both the bubble stone and the aerator, the original one that came with it. So that's the plan for the day. It's 60-ish degrees out right now, even though it's in December. Finally got a nice day to try to do something. Wish I was fishing, but I'm not. Figure why not try our little cooler project, see what happens. So essentially when we're done, here's my Pelican 110 catch. And of course I got the pedal drive will go in there. What I'm thinking is the cooler will just mount in there. And it should be good. I could always put it back here, but then it's going to be difficult to try to get your bait out. I'd rather have it easily accessible. So when we're done, I think the cooler will be okay. Well, maybe that will work. There you go. There, that's the trick. So it shouldn't get in the way of the pedals. I'll have to try it out. I might find a different way to mount it, but that's what we're looking at. Try to make some way to keep bait fresh. Alright, first things first, let's try not to make it red and white anymore. This ain't going to be pretty, but it'll do the trick. Alright, so she's all blacked out with our rubber truck mat. I've let that dry for a little while. I even did the bottom side. And I thought, why not add a little pizzazz to it? Don't make it just plain old black. What we're going to do is I have a bunch of leftover different types of paint for when I did a camo pattern on my Jon Boat over a year ago. But the paint's just been sitting around. Might as well. Why not just camo it out? See what it comes out like. Y'all thought I was just going to leave it black, didn't you? You were like, oh, he's crazy because it's going to get way too hot in the summertime and his fish are going to die. Well, it's not black. Now, I think the truck bed liner is going to be good insulation, actually. I'm hoping that way anyway. But you can always, you know, if your water's getting too warm, I carry ice in the cooler on the kayak and just throw some ice in it, or pour it out, dump some fresh cold water in from right where you're fishing, you know. There's ways to get around the heat, but that's what she's looking like. I think she's coming out pretty good. All right, so you can see our painted camo cooler now. It's got a little bit of the paint flaked off when I was playing with the handle, but that's fine. I can touch it up later. And like I said, it's not meant to be perfect. It's going to get beat around in the kayak. I'm just having fun with a little DIY project here. So what we're going to do is, you know, this handle goes this way, the lid pops up that way, right? So I've got to mount our aerator to the cooler, and it's got that little metal clip there, and it just kind of clip in. So my plan is to put a hole on this side so I can then run the hose, and I'll drill a hole for the hose to run through on this side, and then I'll tee it, and I'll have the bubble stone and the other aerator attachment like that. So 2 ways to aerate. So that's the plan. And trying to figure out how to put a straight like notch into this cooler. The only thing I could think of, and I've seen this done in other videos, is, you know, I've got a chisel which is about the same width as, or just a little bit bigger than the clip. And I don't have a butane torch or anything, but I do have this torch blue that hopefully will get this hot enough to where I can heat it up and then just insert it where I want to end up putting the Livewell aerator. And hopefully, if all goes to plan, it'll work out like it's supposed to. We'll see. I already started it, and it actually did work pretty well. So I heated it up, got it good and hot. You get the edge of the chisel there. Throw that off on the concrete, and then use your thumb to, and it just goes right on through. And hopefully, I'm about to test it to see if that's enough for this clip. Look at that. Boom. Aerator attached. Now I know with a handle, look at that. Handle closes. I can keep it all boxed up like that. Lid opens. So we are good to go. Next step is we're going to drill a hole in here and keep on working from there. Alright, I got my drill and I got my drill bits, and you want to select your drill bit to the size of the hose so there's not a whole bunch of room, a whole bunch of play. If we do this right, we may not even have to like silicone the hole or anything. I think that one might be a little big. I'm gonna go with that one. And if I need to, at least I can start it with this one, and then I'll switch to a bigger bit, or I can round it out a little bit. We'll see. This might make a little bit of a mess now that I've already painted it, but I knew that was going to happen, so I'm not worried about it. Right here. Ooh, look at that. Ooh. That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Well, let's see if that's big enough for that hose. It's going to be a little tight. Look at that, perfect. So now, let me get rid of the cooler innards there. All right, so now what we can do is I'm going to take this piece off. There we go. I'm going to attach my hose to my Livewell like I had it before, or to my aerator rather. Livewell, this whole thing is a Livewell. Take this hose and I'm going to run it through here, run all the way through. Don't kink the hose. All right, so I've got way more hose than I need, and what I'm going to end up doing remember I've got the T, so I'm going to run a T so I can run two hoses, one for this bubble stone that I picked up at Walmart along with the cool everything I bought here I bought at Walmart actually, and then I've got another tube, and I might not even need this tube because I might be able to cut enough off of this one, but we'll see in just a second. All right, so now I've cut my excess hose off and I ran my T, so I can then run one hose to the aerator and then one hose to the bubble stone. And that's what that looks like. I'm going to end up putting that down in the bottom, and I think I'm going to glue that in to make sure it just stays in place. All right, we're going to get to work on that. All right, we got the T set up and we got the bubble stone sitting in the bottom, and what we're going to do is use Gorilla Glue to glue it in place. Maybe. There it works. I'm just gonna put some of this Gorilla Glue on the bottom here. This is good stuff, by the way. This Gorilla Glue holds everything. And then I'm gonna stick it. That way I can get my cord out of the way. I know exactly how that's going to go in. And I'll just let that sit up. So, oops. That's the first part of how it's looking. You see the T and you see the line running to the bubble stone over there. And then I'll run another line for the other aerator. Probably will put this maybe down in that corner. But first things first, I gotta get it on the tee. Probably just gonna cut enough to let this one just free float. I don't even need that much. Just gonna cut this about here, should be good. Cut it straight. There we go. Plenty of extra tubing. And then I'll run this onto this line. That should sit right down in the bottom there. And when you're finished, you got your bubble stone and you got your other aerator. So now let's put some water in it and see what happens. All right, moment of truth, y'all. We'll see if our project was successful. You can see I've got it set up and ready to go. And look at that. We should be a lot better at keeping our fish alive. This is not for keeping fish, this is just bait. It's really a bait well, not a live well. Live well for bait. But you can see that that one's working, and this kind of just free flows in here. I can move it wherever I want, and should be able to just move it out of the way, grab a fish, whatever. But if I think I need to aerate that corner, I can stick it over there, stick it over there. Pretty cool though, just a little like I said, 9-quart cooler, Igloo cooler from Walmart. It was like 12 bucks. The aerator, I think I got it for $5. I've had it for a little while. The bubble stone that I got from Walmart, that was just a couple of bucks. Tea was like, I don't know, not even $1. And then the hose was maybe $1.50 or so, I can't remember. But anyway, $20 investment, a little bit of redneck ingenuity, and now hopefully our mullet won't be dying on us so quick when we do our kayak fishing trips in the backwaters. Alright, as you can hear it in the background, hopefully the aerator Livewell is still humming there. Came out like a good project, and I'm just going to touch up the paint on this a little bit. You know, I've got a little bit of white spots that I knew would flake off as I was messing with it, and I didn't account for not painting. I painted the handle while it was up, so I should have dropped the handle and painted it that way. But all in all, not bad. A little cheap little DIY hack for you. So it's J.Varizzle the Fisher. Hopefully next time I'm shooting a video out in the kayak. Y'all take care. I'm out.